Hey, what's going on, guys? John Lee here. Welcome back to my community. If you're a subscriber, if not, consider subscribing right now. So, in this video, we have White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre versus Doocy again, asking the White House once again about inflation and how we're actually not the worst place off from inflation. Let's see what the White House has to say.
Thanks, Karine. Why is the president saying why is the president saying that inflation is worse everywhere but here?
Because what we have seen across the globe, first of all, inflation is a global challenge, as we have said. It is caused by clearly the pandemic, this once-in-a-generation pandemic that we are coming out of, and also most recently the war that Putin started in Ukraine that has caused inflation as we look at food and as we look at gas prices. So if you look at globally other countries, and if you look at where we are economically, when you think about the Group 7, the G7, we are in a much stronger place than we are economically than the rest. And also,
I did look globally though. He says that inflation is worse everywhere but here. That's not true. The U.S. has worse inflation than Germany, France, Japan, Canada, India, Italy, Saudi Arabia.
Well, I think what we are saying is that when you talk about inflation, it is a global thing. And it is not just about the United States. This is something that everyone is feeling because of coming out of once in a lifetime pandemic, because of the war that Russia has started in Ukraine.
Okay, why is the president asking oil companies to drill more here in the U.S.?
So let me just give you a little bit of a rundown of.
So we'll get to that question here in just a second, but did you see how we just deflect from the podium at the White House? That's when it comes to the press, that's all it seems to happen is just deflect. Our problems are not as bad as they seem. These aren't really our problems. This was started and created from the pandemic. Then it was started and created by the war in Ukraine. Again, also started by Russia. And so how we're involved in all of this bullshit is beyond me, but I do appreciate Doocy's questions, and I don't appreciate the way the White House press secretary, regardless of who they are, always dodges the question and accountability.
Why we are here.
I know his letter was a lot about refining and increasing refining, but that's a lot of oil that comes in from overseas. So why isn't he asking companies to drill more here in the U.S.?
Well, hold on. So here we go. So this is where we are. I'm going to give you a little bit of a rundown of why we are here and what's going on and why we wrote the letter. So due to decreased demand at the start of the pandemic, U.S. oil refineries reduced their capacity by more than 800,000 barrels per day. Now that consumers' demand has returned, thanks to the president's recovery plan, oil refineries have still not brought refinery capacity back to the pre-pandemic levels. So that is the problem, and that is what we're trying to address. At the same time, Putin's invasion of Ukraine put pressure on global supply, and gas prices have gone up by nearly $2 since before the invasion. So President Biden has taken historic actions to elevate this pressure, releasing record amounts of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve and relaying the world to release oil too. That's at 240 million barrels of oil that he was able to do with his partnership. And so we are now at the highest levels of domestic production. So we actually have of crude oil since April of 2020 with an additional 9,000 approved drilling permits that remain unused, but refining capacity needs to come back too. So that is what the problem is. We need them to actually refine the crude oil, which is not happening, and that's what we're calling on oil companies to do.
Why not drill more here in the U.S. though?
Because we don't need to do that. What we need them to do is, with the oil that's out there, we need them to refine that oil so that the capacity could go up and then prices would go down, inherently go down.
So let's blame the oil companies. We need the refined oil, somebody else's fault, but we're not going to do anything about it if it's not going electric.
And so, I know the president once said that he was going to end fossil fuel. Is that now off the table?
No, we are going to continue to move forward with our clean energy proposal, our climate change proposal.
Is that priority? Climate change over?
No, that's not what we're saying. I'm answering the question. I'm answering the question.
Gas prices for its addressing climate change.
First of all, you can do both at the same time. What we're trying to deal with right now is how do we lower costs for American families. And one of the things that we are seeing currently right now with oil refineries is
one of the things that we're seeing right now is the U.S. government beating around the fucking bush and not getting anything fucking done and running this country into the fucking ground.
They are using this moment that there is a war in Ukraine to actually make a profit. When there are steps that they can take so that we can actually lower gas prices for families. And so the president has taken action, right? We talked about the strategic petroleum that he's done, tapping into
barrels. How much does that lower prices?
Here's the thing, Peter. If the president had not taken the actions that he's taken in the past several months, the prices that we see now would be a lot worse. It's actually blunted some of the increase that could have been. And so
you gotta be fucking kidding me. So basically they're saying it could have been a lot worse, but from everything we've done, it's only gone up $2.50 in 1 year.
The president has taken action. He has been a leader. Now he's asking Congress clearly to act in certain ways, and also asking for the oil refineries to do their part and not make money off of a time of war. That's what we're talking about here.
Shit. What kind of fucking, are you seriously fucking kidding me? Take some accountability. You're the people running the fucking country. Do something about it. Get something done. That's your job. That's why you're elected. Not to deflect the questions of the American people and the press. Tisk tisk. That's what I say. I'm John Lee. Hit that like and subscribe button for me. I'm on to the next one.